Getting you some breaking news on top of 11 a.m. Republic TV getting you breaking news of a big breakthrough. Security forces have arrested the Islamic State Jammu and Kashmir chief recruiter Ijaz Ahmad Ahangar, arrested by Afghanistan authorities. Now this is a big breakthrough, and let's go across straight to the news being broken by Shavan Sen. Shavan, how big is this catch for India?
Niranjan, this particular catch is concerned. Remember, this is going to be extremely important because the first arrest actually took place sometime earlier this month, and this was an operation that was carried out by the Afghanistan authorities. In fact, it was the NDS. Remember, at that point in time, the focus was essentially with regards to the Kabul Gurdwara attack and, more importantly, the ISKP chief, given the fact that that was the prized catch of the Afghanistan authorities. Now, during that particular period also, there were 19 others who were essentially arrested. All were considered to be members of ISKP. But what it turned out is that there is one man called Ijaz, who's finally, it turns out, that has got an India connection. And Ijaz happens to be one of the chief recruiters of IS Jammu and Kashmir. And what we are being told is that initially he had actually posed as someone called Ali Muhammad from Islamabad, and that's the reason why the focus did not come into his India links. At that point in time, it was only about his links with ISKP. Now, during the interrogation, it turned out that he's not Ali Muhammad from Islamabad, but one man called Ijaz, and it turns out that he happens to be one of the chief recruiters of IS Jammu and Kashmir. Apart from that, what is very important to point out here is that this man was actually wanted by the police here, by the authorities here in India for almost 2 decades now. In fact, this man was arrested way back in mid-90s for some terror links, and he did actually spend a considerable amount of time in a central jail here in India, and thereafterwards he was released. Now, after he was actually released, what we are being told right now by top sources within the security apparatus here in India is that after he actually escaped from India, he took the route from Bangladesh and thereafterwards spent about a considerable time in Pakistan, and finally he was in Afghanistan. Now, his family links with his son-in-law. In fact, it was one of the chief recruiters, online recruiters, if I may say so, for ISKP, who himself was killed in a drone attack in Nangarhar last year. Sometime last year is what we are being told by our security authorities. But clearly this arrest that has now been made by the Afghanistan authorities, by the NDS to be more particular, we are being told that all the findings of this entire catch, or more importantly the entire investigation that has been carried out by the Afghanistan authorities, will also be shared with India. In fact, the ISKP chief, his revelations have gone on to embarrass Pakistan, because Pakistan themselves have wanted to interrogate the ISKP chief, but was refused permission by the Afghanistan authorities, saying that this operation was purely carried out by Afghanistan. And the fact that ISKP chief in his interrogation has admitted that there is an ISI linked to the Kabul Gurdwara attack, that in itself has been a major embarrassment. And not just that, the entire funding of ISKP, the ISIS Khorasan province module, their entire funding, the ISKP chief has admitted, was actually coming in from the ISI. So that is the reason why Pakistan finds itself in a spot, and all the findings of this entire investigation, we are now being told, would finally be shared with the Indian authorities. So undoubtedly this is a big catch. It did take some amount of time, but it's a fantastic revelation made by the Afghanistan authorities, shared with India, and now top sources within the security apparatus also confirming to Republic TV that yes, the man who initially posed as Ali Muhammad from Islamabad actually happens to be Ijaz. He's actually from Srinagar's downtown area, Navakadal area is what we are being told, and the man was actually on the run for almost 2 decades now.
Okay. Shavan, thank you for joining us with those updates. One quick question, Shavan, on the Gurdwara attack. You spoke about the Kabul Gurdwara attack. Now, prima facie, is there any role emerging of this recruiter? Because we know that the Islamic State has claimed responsibility.
Well, in fact, this entire, the module has basically come under the scanner. In fact, 19 people. So, of the 19 people, Ali Muhammad, who initially posed as Ali Muhammad, now turns out to be Ejaz. He too was part of this entire attack, and that is the reason why. Remember, he was arrested on 4th of April. At that point in time, in fact, even when we had this information, Niranjan, we had the information of the people. In fact, the pictures that we are putting out, these pictures were there with us long back. But at that point in time, no one actually had not even the security apparatus here in India had an idea that this man was actually the same very man that the authorities have been looking for almost 2 decades. So it now turns out that he essentially was playing the role of a recruiter. It turns what we are being told right now is that they're trying to look into other people who were recruited by Ejaz, who are the people, and whether at all there is a direct link, whether there were activities that were carrying out in Jammu and Kashmir or not. That is something that one will have to wait and watch, because once the Afghanistan authorities share their findings with the Indian authorities, that will finally go to the National Investigation Agency also here in India, because NIA has also registered a case in the Kabul Gurdwara attack, because there is a clear India link that has essentially emerged. There's one man from the Kerala ISIS module was also part of this entire attack, and that is the reason why we're given to understand the NIA is also probing. So clearly, yes, as far as answering your question, Ejaz did actually play a role in the Kabul Gurdwara attack, and apart from that, we are being told that the Indian authorities are also suspecting that he may have been very, very active in various other terrorist acts here in India, specifically in Jammu and Kashmir.
Thank you for joining us with those inputs. Sean, breaking the story of a big arrest of an Islamic State